Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Pot's Movie Dungeon. I would like to start this video off by saying Happy Halloween to everybody. We have made it to October 31st, a big day. And what I have done this month, if this is your first time viewing the channel, what I have done is I have watched a Scream Factory movie every single day for the month of October. I've watched 31 great movies, at least 31 movies that I've enjoyed in some way or another. Some have been better than others. But it's been a great time. It's been a challenging thing to do. Trying to fit in a movie every single day with my schedule was not always easy. But I'm very proud that I did not miss a day. I did watch a movie every single day this month. So I did set out to do that, and I accomplished that. So I was very happy with that. And it gave me a chance to really dig into my Scream Factory titles and watch some great movies. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started here. But before we do, if you guys are fans of physical media, if you guys are fans of movies, any kind of boutique labels, collecting of any kind, like I said, please consider subscribing to the channel. We've been around for about 4 or 5 months now and had some really good growth so far, but we're looking to continue growing and continue making this channel better and better. So we got some plans coming up for the rest of the year and going into 2022. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, guys. All that really helps the channel out a lot, and I really enjoy reading your comments. So let's go ahead and get started with the first title, and this is what I watched on the 24th, and that is one of my favorite in this franchise, which is one of my favorite franchises, and that is Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter. This movie came out in 1984. It was directed by Joseph Zito, who also directed some other great movies from the 80s, Missing in Action and Invasion USA, two really good Chuck Norris movies, which I wasn't aware of that until I seen this, and I did a little research. He also directed a couple other horror movies that I actually have not seen, but I know they have a pretty big following. He directed The Prowler and Blood Rage, two movies I definitely want to see. I know they've been released by other boutique labels, and I definitely want to check them out. But this movie also stars Eric Anderson, Judy Aronson, Corey Feldman, Crispin Glover, and Lawrence Monahan, which you may know him from The Last American Virgin. But I'm a big fan of Crispin Glover, and anybody that is familiar with this movie knows when I say Crispin Glover, the first thing that pops to your mind is, of course, that iconic dance scene.
Oh, okay.
Don't ask me to stay. Don't think you got it made. No, you're wrong. 'Cause you can't fake it anymore. I know what you're waiting for. I should turn away and walk right out that door because I know.
Hey, how come you turned that off?
After being announced dead and taken to a morgue, Jason Voorhees spontaneously revives, escapes from the hospital, and stalks a group of friends renting a house in the countryside near Crystal Lake. The reason why I like this movie mainly is because of the cast. Corey Feldman is great in this. It introduces Tommy Jarvis, which he's going to be our hero over the next couple movies here through 4, 5, and 6. And I really love his character, and Corey Feldman does a great job. I want to say he's like 12 years old in this movie, and he's just really good in this movie. He's one of my favorite parts of the movie. But there's some great kills in this movie, guys. It's definitely one of my favorite in the franchise. When I go back and I'm in the mood to watch the Friday the 13th movie, most of the time this is going to be one of the first ones I grab. It's just there's so many parts of this movie I enjoy. The cast, the acting's pretty good. Consider most of these are no names, with the exception of a couple actors. Jason, the portrayal of Jason in this movie is really good. It's got some great gore scenes. Tom Savini comes back and does the special features on this. So yeah, guys, I can't say enough good things about it. It's one of my favorite in the franchise. So that's what I watched on the 24th. So moving on day 25, I watched a really good collector's edition from Scream Factory, one they released pretty recently, over maybe the last month or so, and that is 13 Ghosts. Love that artwork. I had a really good time with this, guys. I had seen this a long time ago. Didn't remember that much about it, but I really had a great time with this. Now this movie here has a lot of good special effects in it that actually do still hold up. This movie came out in 2001. It was directed by Steve Beck, but it stars Tony Shalhoub from I knew him from the show Monk. My wife really enjoys that show. She used to watch it all the time. Embeth Daviditz, Matthew Lillard, which I'm obviously from Scream, and for younger guys out there, Scooby-Doo, and Shannon Elizabeth. Now, Shannon Elizabeth she's always fun to have in a movie. She's always good to look at. Basic plot of the movie is when a very rich collector of unique things dies, he leaves his house and fortune to his nephew and this family. While they're inside, they find they're not alone. So they basically move to the uncle's house, inherit the uncle's house, and what they find out is that the uncle basically has trapped, we'll say 12 ghosts inside this house. You guys just need to see the movie, but it's a fun movie, guys. It's definitely a movie that you need to pay attention to. It kind of moves around all the time, whatever. It kind of jumps around, and so if you don't really pay attention to what's going on, it's very easy to kind of get behind and kind of get lost as far as the plot goes. At least it was for me, anyway. It does have a pretty good amount of special features, guys. You see the green there, so you know Scream Factory they really didn't disappoint with this movie. The transfer looks good. The audio was great in my theater here. Fast, I'll just show you there's the original artwork, and you know there's the inside, and you got the reversible on the inside also. But yeah, can't say enough good things about this one. I had a really good time with it. It had been years since I seen it. It was almost like a first time watch. I didn't remember that much about it. I am a fan of Matthew Lillard. Can't never say his name right. I am a fan of his, and he was good in this. It's probably not my favorite movie. I still like him more than Scream. Scream was my favorite movie with him, obviously, which is probably most. But yeah, like I said, special effects, the story was pretty good. It was a pretty cool story. Overall, guys, had a good time with it. If you haven't seen it, it's a recommend. Alright, so moving on to the 26th, guys. And I'm sorry if this is going to seem a little rushed, whatever. This is the afternoon of Halloween I'm filming this. And we're going to have trick-or-treaters coming to the door here in a little bit. And so I was trying to get this video out before that. So I'm just basically what I do with these review videos, guys, I don't go into a deep review of any of these movies. I just kind of give you my quick thoughts on it, mainly just to show you what I watched each day. And just, like I said, just give you my general thoughts about the movie. Whether I liked it or didn't like it, etc. This is not going to be an in-depth review of any of these movies, guys. Those are saved for like other videos. This is just pretty much an overview of what I watched. So if it seems a little rushed, guys, that's why. But what I watched on the 26th, guys, was Halloween 4. And this is obviously one of the 4K releases from Scream Factory that that recently came out. And of course, I'm not going to get into all the trouble I've had getting these, like all you guys have. Everybody knows that story by now. But yeah, this movie, guys, is a great addition to the franchise. I absolutely love Part 4. And me saying that I love Part 4, I love this movie here. I'm not the biggest fan of this story arc. You know, as you know by now, Halloween's got like 2 or 3 story arcs. But this one here is definitely not my favorite of that. 5 and 6 really drop off for me a lot, but I'm a big fan of this one here. This movie here is really what Halloween is all about. It's intense. You know, you'll go 20 minutes. I'm sure I can speak for most of you guys. You go for 20 minutes watching this movie, and you don't even realize you're sitting there like this. You know, and that's just a sign of a good horror movie for me. So, guys, this is just one of the all-time best franchises in horror, and to me, this is what started it all. I'm a huge Michael Myers fan, a huge Donald Pleasence fan. I mean, I can go on and on about this. I'm not going to say anything that you guys watching this channel don't already know. There's the special features, guys. These packages are just absolutely fantastic. Not going to get into all that. But that's the inside artwork for you guys that hadn't for some reason seen this. First day on YouTube, I guess. But there's the reversible. There's the new artwork. And I try to keep these turned around to the old artwork, whatever, because I'm not the hugest fan of this artwork here. This one ain't quite so bad, but there are some that are not great. And plus, I love the iconic old posters, so I try to flip it over so I can have both. But basically, guys, this movie here stars Donald Pleasence. It came out in 1988. It was directed by Dwight H. Little, and it stars Donald Pleasence, Ellie Cornell, Daniel Harris, George P. Wilbur plays Michael Myers in this in Part 4. And the plot of this one here is 10 years after the original massacre, the invalid Michael Myers awakens on Halloween Eve and returns to Haddonfield to kill his 7-year-old niece. And Dr. Loomis, of course, is still obsessed with Michael Myers and trying to stop him and going around telling everybody he's pure evil. Donald Pleasence is great in this one here. Now, he does kind of drop off for me in 5 and 6, mainly 6. But Donald Pleasence is still a lot of fun in this one here. And to me, some of my favorite parts of Halloween are the Donald Pleasence scenes. I mean, he's just great. To me, he is Halloween, just as much as Michael Myers is. But yeah, guys, a fan of this one here. I'm glad I added it into my 31 Screams. This was a great time. And regardless of the trouble I had getting this release looked and sounded fantastic. I'm not, like I said, not going into a great in-depth review, but it really sounded good. It looked good. Alright, so what I decided to go ahead and do on the back of that one there, on the next day I went ahead and watched Halloween 5. Mainly because I hadn't seen it forever. And also, I really did enjoy 4, and I was kind of wanting to continue the story arc because, like I said, I hadn't seen it in years. And I also wanted to see what this transfer looked like for 5. And no, that is not Nicolas Cage. I know that's an old joke now, but you have to admit, you can't look at that without thinking of Nicolas Cage. This is my least favorite of the artwork, by the way, as is most. So basically, this one here came out in 1989. It was directed by, and I know I'm going to screw this up, guys. It was directed by Dominique Othnian Girard. Close enough. It also stars Donald Pleasence and Daniel Harris and Ellie Cornell. Now, Daniel Harris is the little girl that plays Michael Myers' niece that he's, for whatever reason, going after. And this one here takes place 1 year after the events of Halloween 4. And the Michael Myers returns to Haddonfield once again in an attempt to kill his now mute niece. Now, this movie here starts off where Jamie, after the end of part 4, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to say what happens at the end of part 4. You guys know. But she wakes up and basically, and she's in a home for children, like I guess children that have been through traumatic events or whatever. And she basically now she can't talk. And the majority of the movie, especially with Donald Pleasence, is always trying to get her to tell him where Michael Myers is. She has this connection with Michael Myers. If Michael Myers is going to be attacking somebody, killing somebody, or whatever, she gets a sense of it, and she goes into this like attack, like a seizure type thing. And anyway, Donald Pleasence is always trying to go after her and say, look here, tell me what's going on. And that's pretty much the gist of Donald Pleasence's character in this. This is not my favorite movie with Donald Pleasence in it. This is kind of where he starts dropping off for me a little bit. So I wasn't the biggest fan of that. I mean, like I said, this is not one of my favorite in the franchise by no means. From part 4 to part 5, it really drops off for me. But that being said, I'm still a fan of this movie. I still enjoyed it. Again, special features on this thing, guys. The audio and the video sound great. They did a great job with the packaging. But you guys just have to decide whether it's worth the upgrade or not. But like I said, I'm happy that I upgraded these. I have no complaints about them now that I finally have them in my hand. Alright guys, we're going to go and move on to the next one here. And this is what I watched on day 28, on October 28th. And this was probably my favorite watch of the week. I had not revisited this movie since it came out in the early 90s. And if you guys hadn't seen this is going to be my biggest recommend of the week. And that is Brain Scan. And this movie came out in 1994. It was directed by John Flynn. Now, John Flynn also directed 2 great movies from the 80s, Out for Justice and Lock Up. Both are great action movies. So I also did not know that John Flynn directed those. This also stars Edward Furlong, Frank Langella, which to me, Frank Langella looks a lot like Christopher Lee to me. I always kind of refer to him as a poor man's Christopher Lee. But yeah, he's a great actor. I'm not taking nothing away from him. But every time I think of him, I just think, okay, they couldn't get Christopher Lee, so they got him. But anyway, he does a great job at this in this movie as the detective. But this movie was, like I said, stars Edward Furlong, Frank Langella, and the guy there, the trickster, is played by a guy named T. Ryder Smith. I couldn't find a whole lot about him, whatever, but he does a really good job in this. I mean, he's definitely a weirdo. He's an ugly dude. The way they got him done up in this, he's just an ugly dude to look at. But he does a great job as the trickster in this movie. But the basic plot of this one here is a lonely teenage horror movie fan discovers a mysterious computer game that uses hypnosis to custom tailor the game into the most terrifying experience imaginable. When he emerges from the hypnotic trance, he is horrified to find evidence that the brutal murder depicted in the game actually happened, and that he's the killer. So yeah, guys, it's a fun plot. It's a fun movie. It actually holds up really well. It's just a very unique horror movie. And so, like I said, this is going to be my highest recommended of the week, and probably my second or third highest recommended of the whole month. I had a great time revisiting this movie. I had not seen this movie in so long, and this movie was actually recommended to me by Brian Goes Blue. And a few months ago, it was recommended by my buddy Johnny Walker. He also has a YouTube channel on here, and I'll try to link both of them down below, guys, if I remember to do so. But yeah, this movie here has been recommended to me so many times since I got it, and I just hadn't took the time to check it out. So like I said, this was a good month to go ahead and throw it in the mix, and I recommend, guys, check it out. All right, so moving on to the next day, on day 29. This was not as fun of a watch as the previous day. I went ahead and watched Halloween 6. Now, as you know, the 4Ks from Scream Factor only went 1 through 5, so I had to dig into my Halloween box set for this one. And so I went ahead and watched The Curse of Michael Myers, which is Halloween 6. Guys, I really don't want to hate on this movie because I love this franchise so much. But I mean, all my favorite franchises, whether it's this, Friday the 13th, Scream, whatever, every franchise has got a favorite. Every franchise has got a least favorite. I'm just going to say this is my least favorite in the franchise. I would love to hear below what you guys, and I know there's 1,000 ranking videos out there, but I would love to hear your guys' comments below. What's your favorite? Just tell me what your favorite Halloween is and your least favorite Halloween. You can list all of them. It's up to you. But I would love to get some feedback on that. But like in my personal opinion, this is my least favorite. I, by now we have a few different legs of the franchise, a few different story arcs, and this is by far my least favorite story arc. I wasn't a big fan of the Thorn and the Druid thing or whatever. I just wasn't a big fan of it. And this movie's not really well acted. I mean, this movie has Paul Rudd in it, and I'm a big Paul Rudd fan. And even he wasn't good in this. It wasn't a good story. It wasn't a good movie. Michael Myers, I thought, looked ridiculous in this. I didn't think he was. He looked more goofy than he did. He was scary or intimidating to me. There was a couple good kills in this, but nothing really stands out. And I don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole of hating on this movie because, like I said, I love the franchise so much. So I'm just going to stop there. But the movie came out in '95. It was directed by Joe Champel, starring Donald Pleasance, Paul Rudd, Marianne Hagen, and Mitchell Ryan. So I go on to give you, the basic plot of what the movie's about. 6 years after Michael Myers last terrorized Haddonfield, he returns there in pursuit of his niece, Jamie Lloyd, who has escaped with her newborn child, for which Michael and a mysterious cult have sinister plans. I don't know. I mean, Donald Pleasance, I feel like, was pretty much in this just because of his name. They didn't really give him a whole lot to work with here, and plus the poor guy was getting so up in age during the filming of this movie here. I want to say he passed away right as this movie finished filming, or pretty shortly after. I may be wrong about that, guys. I didn't look it up, so y'all can correct me down below. But there wasn't a whole lot of meat to this movie. The story really sucked, in my opinion. And there I am again, guys. I'm hating on the movie, and I don't want to. I know there's fans of this movie out there. There's got to be, being such a big franchise. But I'm here just to give you guys my quick thoughts on the movie. Not a fan. Yeah, definitely my least favorite watch of the week. And it had been years since I've seen 4, 5, and 6. And I enjoyed 4 a lot. 5 was enjoyable. This one here, it just wasn't great, guys. All right, we're going to move on. Enough hating on one of my favorite franchises there. So we're going to move on to the next day. And on the other side of that coin, this is one of my favorite in this other franchise, which is Friday the 13th. And I brought out some of the big guns, guys, for this last week. And this is one of my favorite in the franchise. 4, 5, and 6 of Friday the 13th, whatever, is one of my favorite parts of the whole franchise. I really love the Tommy story. And this movie here didn't disappoint. This movie here basically was released in 1985. It was directed by Danny Steinman, and it stars Melanie Kinnaman and John Shepard. Basically, still haunted by his past, Tommy Jarvis, who as a child killed Jason Voorhees, is sent to a secluded halfway house in the countryside, where the killing of a young man triggers a brutal series of murders in the area. So, I mean, that's the basic plot. I mean, Tommy, the actor that plays Tommy Jarvis, which is, I believe, is John Shepard, he did a really good job in the role. There's some really cool kills in this movie. So there's some iconic scenes in this, like, you got Vi, whatever, doing her dance scene. Everybody always thinks about that. You got Junior and his crazy ass mama, which, in every one of these movies, just about, there's always a crazy Ralph type character. And I guess the mom and Junior are that in this movie. So some really fun kills. It's just a fun movie to go back to. And everybody knows the plot of this by now. This was a Jason, a copycat killer, Roy. Everybody knows the story by now, guys. I'm not too much worried about spoilers. And something else, guys, I love that cover art right there. I'm looking to upgrade some of my posters in my room here, and I could definitely see me getting this poster here to hang up in my movie room here. I'm a big fan of that artwork, always have been. And so I'm going to try to see if I can locate that poster. And I would love to go to some of these conventions some of you guys go to and get some of these signatures. That would be a cool poster to get signed and hung up in the room here. So I'll definitely get the poster. Maybe one day I'll get a signature. But yeah, and if you guys haven't got that Friday the 13th box set, you guys need to grab that thing. It keeps dropping in price. And when that thing does go out of print one day, if it ever does, you guys are gonna hate that you miss out on that, guys. This box set is by far the best thing I have in my collection. So, moving on to the final day, guys, and this is it. This was the big day. And I went back and forth on this so many different times on what I was gonna watch on Halloween. I kind of sucks that I watched Trick or Treat so early, because that'd have been a great movie to save for today. And I could always go back and rewatch it again. I watched it earlier in the month. But I went back and forth over a few titles, thinking about maybe like Pumpkinhead, Jeepers Creepers. There was so many great titles I could choose from. But I ended up settling on this. And everybody may not agree with this being my Halloween movie, but It's a movie that I've always enjoyed. I hadn't seen in years. I've never seen the release that Scream Factory put out, even though I've owned it for a few months now. But that is Pet Sematary 2, the collector's edition. And I do love that artwork, but guys who have not seen this movie, this is not a werewolf movie. I know that looks like this would be a werewolf movie with that artwork. As great as it looks, it really don't match the movie. I mean, yeah, there is a dog in the movie that's, you know, I guess would be similar to this dog, but to me that looks like a werewolf movie. All right, that being said, guys, I love this movie. I had a great time. There's the inside artwork, much better. But I had a great time with this movie, guys. It has a great cast. This movie came out in 1992, directed by Mary Lambert. And I believe she directed the first Pet Sematary as well. You guys can correct me below. This stars Edward Furlong. So I kind of had a big Edward Furlong marathon this week. But it stars Edward Furlong, Anthony Edwards, from, of course, Goose, and from Revenge of the Nerds, and Clancy Brown. Now, Clancy Brown, to me, he's one of my favorites, guys. He's such a great actor. The first thing I was ever seen him in was way back in the day when he was in Bad Boys with Sean Penn, the prison movie. And since then, everything I ever seen him in is he's always just been great. I've never seen anything with Clancy Brown I didn't enjoy to some extent, at least his character anyway. And in this movie, Clancy Brown also did not disappoint. You know, I'm not too much worried about spoilers, like I said, but his character gets killed, and when he comes back, I mean, some of the scenes he's in, he's just so over the top with it. Like the scene with him and the two boys sitting there eating the mashed potatoes, that whole table scene. You guys that seen the movie know what I'm talking about. Such a good time. And if you watch the special features, the interview they do with Clancy Brown, they actually, all the special features on this, they have a new interview with Clancy Brown, Edward Furlong, and this guy here, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but this boy here, right there. They end up doing an interview with him, whatever. But all the interviews are really good. And Clancy Brown's interview is really enjoyable. He said when he first read the script, you know, he wasn't too sure if he wanted to do it or not. But he said it sounded like a good time. But he said that he decided that, you know, this was going to be kind of a goofy movie, so he really was going to play it over the top, which he did. And his role was the best thing about the movie to me. I mean, Edward Furlong did a great job. The story was good, but Clancy Brown's what really brought it home for me. I mean, he did a great job with this movie. But the basic plot is a teenage boy and his father move to his recently deceased mother's hometown, where they encounter the ancient Native American cemetery with the power to raise the dead. Anybody that knows a story about Pet Sematary knows what I'm talking about. Now, something else, guys. You don't have to watch part one to watch this one. To me, this is really a standalone movie. The only time it even references the first movie is one time it goes by a mailbox and it shows the name of the family from part one. But I mean, there's nothing about part one you need to know about to enjoy and watch this movie here. That being said, the basic plot of this one here is Edward Furlong. His mom is a big time actress. She dies in this horrific death, whatever, and then he ends up moving with his dad to her hometown, which is where the Pet Sematary is at. He has to go to school, and he runs across these bullies. You know, he makes a friend, and one thing leads to another. He finds about the Pet Sematary and tries to bring his mom back. And as you can imagine, the craziness that ensues with that. But it was a fun movie, guys. I had a great time with it. Special features on this movie, definitely check those out if you have a chance. It was a great time. Well, guys, that's going to finish up my 31 screens of October. I have had a blast doing this. For you guys that have hung out with me throughout the month watching these reviews of what I've watched, I do appreciate it. If this is your first time here, please go back and watch the previous weeks. Like I said, I did one update video every week of October. But like I said, guys, it's been a great time. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great Halloween. Hope you guys have enjoyed all these horror movies y'all been watching. I've been enjoying watching everybody else's updates as well. I got a lot of plans coming up over the next few months going into 2022. So if you guys have never been here before, you know, please consider hitting that subscribe button, that like button. It really does help the channel out a lot, guys. And I've had a lot of recent subscribers, and thank you so much for anybody that has subscribed to the channel. It is definitely appreciated. I know I've said that before, but I can't say it enough. But I will be back soon, guys, with some more videos. And once again, happy Halloween. You guys be safe out there. I'm fixing to give out some of this Halloween candy, some of these trick-or-treaters. I heard my wife answering the door now. But I'll be back soon, guys. You guys have a great Halloween.